Let's create another employees. Let's delete this part. So we have employee one, employee two. Let's create two more employee. Employee three, new employee. Then the name, we call it Mike. Then age 27 is employed false, and his hobbies coding and also music. Then the next parameter is his job title, developer, and his ID 3, and his status dot inactive, for example. Then let's create another employee 4, new employee. Let's call it this time Sarah. Her age 40 and employed through her hobbies. Let's call it management and also reading. Then her job title is manager, her ID 4 and status active. Okay, we have 4 employees. Now let's create our array of employees. So let's call it const employees, and each type will be array, but the type of each element will be employee. So our array will be employee type. So this will be our array. So we have employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, and employee 4. Okay, we have our array now, and we are going to work with the array methods. How to use array methods. When we want to look for mm, look for like all active employees, all we are looking for all elements, all here, all employees. So we are going to find all of them. So if we want to find all of elements that match a condition, we will use filter method. Okay, so filter method in array. So let's try to use it so we can understand what it means. Const, like we are going to find all active employees. So all active employees will be our array employees dot filter. Okay, so we are going to find all elements match to that condition. So we are going to find all employees match to our condition. Our condition is if they are active. So we will use filter method to find all of them. Remember in the previous lesson, we said we will use arrow functions inside the array methods. Employees is our array, filter is our method in array, and inside this we are going to use, inside this method, inside the filter method, we are going to use our arrow function. So this is the symbol of our arrow function. So we are going to look for employees. So for example, we just call it EMP, employee. So any word or letters you can use, but the right side you should use the same word. So we are looking for those employees which their status, right? Because it's the type of this employee, it has status property, right? Here. So which its status is equal to status active. Okay, so this is how we used arrow function inside our array method. This is the symbol of arrow function. The left side we are going to look for, we just write the name of our parameter in our arrow function, which that function receives, then do this task. So if its status is active, so we look for those employees. So, and what's the result will be in active employees. So this will be our result. So let's try to console this and see the result. Active employees. This one, see. So that will be array, another array, the, the array of those employee, their status is active. So let's see the output. tsc node sample.js here. So we forgot to, next time it will not appear again. So this 8 and 10 comes from our previous calculation, our previous comments. So we have array. The first is also employee object, its name, age of that object, and everything about that object. And the second element on that array. So that's the output, is array with two objects, and it gives everything about those objects. But what if we want to see only their names? So we need to do something. Okay, this is our array. We want to do something on every element of this array, so we can get our final result array. So when we want to transform each item, I'm going to talk about the next array method. So now you know how the filter method works. So we are just going to learn about the second method. So when we want to transform each item in the array, we use map method. Map. Map method. It's called map method because it maps each item. For example, here, this is our first element in the array. So we just want only the name. So how we can map it to the another array? So we will do, and we will use the map method. So active employees is our array as result, and it prints in output. So we just use map method, and to map each element of that, to transform each element of that array. So that time we use map method. So again, we are going to use arrow function in this method, in this map method. So again, like we call it like emp, our parameter for this arrow function, and see, automatically it appears here the name of employee. So we learned how to use filter method when we want to get all the elements match our condition. Okay, but sometimes we want to transform And for example, we have array, like array of result or any kind of array. We want to transform each element of that array to something else. So that time we use map method. Like here, we want to use map method, so we just get only the name of those employee which are active. So let's try to run this. See, we have now very simple and nice result. This is our new array. But before we get the array, you see the square bracket, which has two elements. This is what first element up to comma, and after that we have the second element. Those elements are objects. So now we understood how to use filter method and map method. And inside them we use arrow function. Sometimes we want to, for example, we have array and we want to calculate a single value from all items of our array, like sum or maximum or minimum amount or average or any other calculations. In these scenarios, we use reduce method. Reduce. We will use reduce method to calculate something like sum or any other calculations. For example, let's try here to calculate the total age of all employees. Okay, so let's create total age will be, okay, will be, what's our array? Employees. This is our array, and we will use reduce. This is our method we are going to use. And inside reduce, we have two parameters. So reduce is a method of array to calculate something, single value, and it has two parameters. The first part is arrow function. The second part is our initial value. So let's see what I mean. So here's our arrow function. Our arrow function, so its parameters will be, for example, here we call it sum, and we have other parameter also emp. So our initial value we have here is 0. So for example, sum is 0. And it will, that arrow function will return it will return sum plus emp is our, it will be our object, so we can access to the value of each property in bracket notation, if you remember. So age. And 0 is for the initial value for the sum. I hope it's clear to understand. So we use reduce method to calculate something in our array. So this is our array. We are going to calculate something. Like here we are going to calculate sum or total age. So in reduce we have two parameters. The first part is arrow function part, which receives two parameters, the sum and emp, and it returns sum plus the property of emp, age property of emp, its value of age in the emp on that employee. And 0 is our initial value for the sum. So let's try to see the result. Console.log total age. So let's see here. The total age of all employees in our employees array is 122. So we learned how to use filter, how to use map, how to use reduce. We use filter to find all elements in our array, and it will give us a array, new array with the all matching on that condition. And we use map to or to transform each element of our array to something else. So we used map method, and we used reduce to calculate something in by combining all items in our array. So we use reduce. Sometimes we want to check if some items or every item in our array match to the condition or not. We only want to get yes or no, true or false as answer. In these scenarios, we use sum and every methods. Sum, sum method, sum method, not, not like this. I just want to make it simple. Sum or every method, like this. We will use them in our array to find sum or every. And the answer will be true or false. We just want to check if some items in our array match to that condition or not. So the answer will be true or false. Every also like that. We want to check if in every item in our array match to that condition or not. So the answer will be true or false. So let's try. Let's try to use these methods. For example, let's check if there is any employee that's unemployed or not. We are going to check if we have any unemployed employee or not. So just create this variable as unemployed. Then our array is employees. Then we are going to check if we have even at least one employee or not. So sum. We'll use sum method. Sum method inside inside sum method. So we have arrow function again emp which this function will return if the status of not status if it's employed or not. So we have is employed. This will return if it's employed. So we are going to find unemployed, so not employed. So we just add not to the our condition. So let's try the console and see the result. So the result will be yeah, true or false. So let's compile true. We have we have unemployed. This is employed. This is not employed. So unemployed we have. Or let's check if all employees are active or not. So we are going to every item in our array to match to that condition. The condition is they are active or not. So we use every method here. So const all active is our variable, our array employees. So we use every here, every method, and our arrow function here. So the parameter received this arrow function is employee, and it will return the status, true or false. If the status of that employee is active. Let's see the result. All active. False. Not all employee, not every employee is active. We have some employees, they are not active. So we learned how to use some and every methods if we are going to check a condition for some or every items in our array. So in summary, we used filter method. Let's say if we are going to find a array which match that our condition, we use filter. If we are going to transform each element, we use map. If we want to calculate something for our total elements in our array, we use reduce. If you are going to check a condition, true or false, we use some or every. If you are going to check for at least one, if it matched to at least one element, we use some method. If we are going to check if that condition matched to every element, we use every method.